Hi, I'm Derek Corcoran, Chief Experience Officer at Avoka and based in our Colorado office in the US. In this session, I'm going to cover three topics. First, I'm going to position Avoka's solution for wealth management onboarding. Second, I'm going to discuss some of the best practices that we've learned for the creation of frictionless wealth management experiences. And third, I'm going to discuss some relevant examples of clients that have achieved significant results by leveraging the Avoka platform. As research from the IT Group shows, wealth management is at a bit of an intersection. Some firms are betting on robo-advice as the path forward, whilst others believe the best solutions for clients are provided by trained human advisors. And others believe the perfect solution is a combination of both. But if we focus on the client, it's clear that people want good advice delivered conveniently. And for some clients, that's by talking to their advisor. And for others, it might be by talking to Siri. But regardless of which type of firm you are and which type of client you're engaging, digital has a role to play for self-service clients and advisor-led. And one of the most important components of that digital capability is the onboarding experience for new clients and new products. For most firms, onboarding is still a paper-intensive form-filling process, and the expectation is that digitizing this process will require a lengthy and costly custom software development project. In fact, Avoka looked at the top 10 retail banks in the US. We looked at 172 separate wealth management products offered by those retail banks. Only 14% of those products can be applied for online, and only 1% offers a mobile responsive experience for clients. Now, our product, Avoka Transact, is a platform for omnichannel sales transactions that allows you to rapidly digitize the onboarding experience for either advisor-led or self-service customers. And you can do that with minimal programming and rapidly. So whether it's IRAs, 401k rollovers, or trust accounts, you can leverage the rapid delivery capabilities of Avoka Transact to accelerate the digital sales component of your firm's digital transformation. Avoka sits behind the Apply Now or the Open Now button and has a focus on streamlining the onboarding process for the advisor and the client, whilst ensuring you meet the regulatory requirements for new customer acquisition and also support the kind of collaboration that a client and advisor might want to have. And we do this by providing our clients with three primary components. First, a powerful design tool that allows you to build the customer experience and the customer journey you want. You drag and drop pre-built widgets onto a template that embodies your style to create that customer experience. Secondly, we've over 50 pre-built integrations to technology partners like Yodlee, Kofax, DocuSign, Salesforce, for example, that accelerate the creation of your desired customer journey. Our platform opens up the world of fintech innovation. And finally, there's the server component of the solution that allows you to manage and optimize your onboarding experiences. All of this combines to allow you to create a frictionless omnichannel onboarding experience that supports both self-service and advisor-led service. And what we're bringing to our clients that they don't have today is the ability to rapidly transform that paper-oriented experience to one that's digital and frictionless, and then the analytics and the agility to optimize that onboarding experience, making it easier for advisors, making you an easier firm to work with, and making it easier for your clients. And we've been honored with a number of awards in recent times because our message is really resonating with the financial services industry. And what we're providing is a platform that makes your existing teams, your existing experienced developers and designers more productive than the approach that they're taking today. Now, with the project work that Avoka has done to date, and with that onboarding in mind, let's look at some best practices for creating a frictionless onboarding experience. So first of all, we advocate that you design from the customer in. So this means you need to understand your processes for onboarding in the back office, but design from the perspective the customer is considering. So ignore to a large extent the sequence or the orientation of your flow in the background and focus on what's going to make it easy for the customer to actually give you the information that you require to give them the right product set to achieve their goals. Secondly, there are a lot of services out there that can assist with pre-fill. So minimize the number of keystrokes, minimize the effort that the customer has to invest. So obviously we can do things like address lookups, but you can take that to the extent of taking photographs of driver's licenses to pre-fill about 70 keystrokes and about 11 fields on an application form, right through to services from partners like Yodlee, who can provide account aggregation services. So we not only have an understanding of somebody's financial position, but then that can be updated on a daily basis by leveraging services like Yodlee. We strongly encourage our clients to minimize the number of fields they ask customers to complete. Very often it's death of a thousand cuts. They just add another field, and all of a sudden the onboarding application becomes 20 or 30 pages. But when you look at whether or not all of that information is actually being used today, it can be very easy to minimize the number of fields that we're actually asking customers to complete. And if we do need them to complete them, make them as easy as possible for customers to complete. We recommend that our clients are conscious of information familiarity. So certain things I'll be able to answer quite quickly, such as my name, my date of birth, my social security number, but other pieces of information, such as details of my last 2 years of tax returns, is probably something I need to look up in a filing cabinet. So be conscious of the questions that you ask and how easily the customer can complete them, and we encourage our clients to sequence it such that they ask the tough questions last. Purely from an aesthetic perspective, when you're laying something out for smartphones, we strongly recommend you position labels above fields. That leaves more usable real estate on the actual application form for our clients to complete it. And it means that your eye only has to go vertically down the page instead of scrolling left and right. And onboarding for wealth management products, particularly in a self-service environment, can be complex. It can be a lengthy application form. So there's a high chance that a client may begin and then abandon. So we strongly recommend that you capture a lead early in the application process. So collect the potential investor's first name, last name, email address, and cell phone number. Store that as a lead. If they've given you those details, they're genuinely interested. They may not have all the time to complete the application right now. So if you at least capture them as a lead, you can follow up and see if you can convert them to a customer. And on that point, we strongly recommend you offer customers the ability to save a partially completed application. So just understanding the fact that life gets in the way, cell phones can drop out of battery, laptops can die, people need to run to meetings. Giving them the ability to save a partially completed application and come back to it will strongly encourage them to actually complete the application. And in doing so, you can then also support crossover between devices and channels. So I can start on a cell phone while I'm sitting on the train, and it occurs to me that I really should set up an investment account because I now have my first child. But I may not want to complete that on my phone. I can save it. I can pick it up on my laptop, which has a bigger keyboard. I could save it. I could actually speak to an advisor. They can bring up my partially completed application and help me complete it. Thirdly, application forms for onboarding into new products can sometimes read almost as demanding. We recommend kind of softening the language with some conversational language, particularly when you're breaking up between sections in an application form. As you can see in this example, just a soft little sentence like, tell us about yourself, can lighten the nature of the conversation. Next, we don't recommend the use of all capitals anywhere in an application form, apart from some people feeling like it's shouting at them. It's also actually harder for the brain to process. So especially if you're delivering things like instructions to people, whilst aesthetically you may feel that capitals kind of stand out and they're square and they look better, they're actually more difficult for the brain to process because you don't learn to read in capitals. So your sight words, the ones that you recognize without having to think about them, you learn to read them in sentence case at school. So if you provide instructions in sentence case or even labels in sentence case, it's much easier for the customer to recognize the word and process the information and do what it is you're asking them to do. We obviously live in a mobile world these days, so we should make any interactions as touchscreen friendly as possible, and that means minimizing the use of the keyboard. So where you can replace text input fields with drop-downs or radio buttons or checkboxes, and use the keyboard minimally, and make targets easy to hit with your finger. And we also recommend that you group similar tasks together. So if you need the customer to provide you with some supporting documentation, and maybe that documentation is in a filing cabinet, instead of asking for it at multiple stages through the application form, through the onboarding experience, which will result in the customer having to potentially make multiple trips to the filing cabinet as you disclose the additional documentation they need to provide, we would recommend that you group all of those together at the end of the application so I can see the list of things I need to provide and make a single trip to the filing cabinet to gather that information. This is all focused on trying to make it convenient for the end customer, whether that's your advisor is your customer or the investor is your customer, making it as easy as possible for them to complete this application and become a client. And if anybody's keeping check, that's 11 out of our top 12. The last one is perfect is the enemy of good. Or as I think Confucius said, better a diamond with flaws than a pebble without. And what that means is very often when firms think about their digitizing their onboarding experience, they think it has to be a digital experience from front to back. So that requires the integration that was mentioned previously. And that integration can be a showstopper for many projects. In the meantime, customers are not being offered the benefit of the digital onboarding experience. So better to put at least a better customer experience out there, even if you're manually processing the applications in the background, than do nothing. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you're ready for integration, all the way through to your wealth management systems, that's great. You can get immediate delivery of the onboarding through to the customers. But if you're not ready for that, or if that's going to significantly delay a project, we strongly recommend at least getting the customer experience enhanced. And with that said, I'd like to turn to a couple of examples of clients that we at Avoka have had the privilege of working with recently. And the first is Millennium Trust, a custodian based out of Illinois. And when they established their business, they were very keen to offer a digital experience, both for advisors that were bringing clients to them as well as to direct clients. And they've leveraged our platform to build out that application experience for products, for example, such as 401k rollovers and IRAs. And they are in a situation where they're literally managing their onboarding experience to the minute. They're doing everything they can to try and reduce the amount of time it takes for a new client to open an account. And they're currently seeing about 72% of their clients straight through processed, so no human intervention at all. And the average time to open an account with Millennium Trust is 13 minutes, where most of their competitors measure the time to onboard a new customer in days or weeks. And according to their own records, in the first 12 months of being live, they estimate that they saved about 1 million minutes of back office work. And they offer a popular product, and they actually had a backlog of clients that needed to be onboarded. But by improving the efficiency of the onboarding experience by leveraging the capabilities of digital, they were able to reduce that client onboarding backlog from over 3,000 to less than 1,000, again, within that first 12 months. The next client we're dealing with is a bank, concierge-led style banking service based out of the west coast of the U.S. And they had 30 separate wealth products, and they wanted to digitize the onboarding experience and move away from typical PDF or paper forms. And in their environment, what they chose to do was keep the notion of the individual forms. So they had 140 forms that spanned the 30 different products. So they actually kept the concept of the forms, but they created a completely digital experience that automatically bundled the forms together based on the product that the customer was being brought into. And this allows them to create that kind of omni-channel experience and to get to market extremely rapidly. So within the first phase of the project, There was no customer. There was no integration. The entire project focused on that customer experience, as I was talking about previously, and they were able to deliver a result in just 3 months. The second phase of the project is now building out that integration and facilitating cross-sell into other product lines within the firm. And the final example, stretching to one of our international clients, is TAL in Australia. So TAL offer life insurance products through the mandatory superannuation or pension fund model in Australia. So their clients are actually the funds, the superannuation funds they sell to, and then the fund offers the TAL insurance product through to the member of the fund. So in this example, First State Super is the fund and TAL is the provider. And they needed to, because of that model, they needed to be able to dynamically brand or offer white-labeled experiences so that the brand of the superannuation fund was persisted into the application for something like income protection or death and disability insurance. And they wanted to be able to offer an improved customer experience to the fund to then offer through to the end member. And so leveraging the Avoka platform, they're now in a situation where they've rapidly created onboarding experiences that are mobile friendly, support save and resume, support channel crossover, and has positioned TAL as a leading provider of the insurance products to that growing superannuation industry. So that's the content I have for today. And so please, if you're looking to improve your onboarding experience for direct or advisor-led clients, please reach out to us here at Avoka to discuss how we can help. And with that, I'll turn it back to Don.